Guys, I'm still reeling from that CBS This Morning interview with Meghan Markle and Prince Harry. They are exploiting grieving families who've lost children. We got to talk about this. Welcome to Popcorn Palace. I am Andy Signor, and I'm back with Sue Smith. Thanks for being here, Sue. Sue was there on our live stream where we hit 100,000 subscribers, but it was a full interview. It was very long. I want to make sure we give you a more digestible version where we break down some points that I really think are important we get across. So thank you for being here, Sue. Let's get right into it, and I'm going to come to you in a minute to get to your thoughts, but I want to start here because, guys, they are launching a new program called the Parents Network, No Children Lost to Social Media, to basically children who've unalived themselves and grieving parents who are suffering from it. And this Parents Network who says no more. So I want to go back and play this clip specifically from the interview where Jane Pauley reminds us of what Meghan said in her own words during the Oprah interview.
But I knew that if I didn't say it, that I would do it. And I just didn't want to be alive anymore.
You had an experience that connects you to these families. And I see you touch your husband's hand in just the way I knew that you would be looking after each other.
And her mind is now thinking, oh gosh, what is she going to say? Is she going off script? This isn't what was planned. Where are you going with this, Jane?
If I went places. But the connection that you have with people is they know you had suffered too, personally. Contemplating killing yourself is what suicidal ideation was. And I'm dancing around this because I can see you're uncomfortable with my even going there. Do you?
I understand why you are, though. I wasn't expecting it, but I understand why you are. Because there is a through line, I think. And
there's a through line, she thinks, Sue. She thinks? How? This is literally the only connection there is. The thoughts that she's having are what these families are dealing with the kids that are having. And she's so shocked and surprised and frustrated. And what do you mean? Oh, I guess I could see the connection. Sue, am I crazy? Why is she surprised that this topic is brought up, given that it's literally what the whole existence of this new charity is? Why do you think she's so surprised?
Because I think her behavior when that all happened before, it's already been so debunked that she said to him, I'm going to hurt myself. But then I thought about all the loss that he's had with his mother, and I decided I couldn't do that. That's not the way people that are true suicidal think. They don't think, well, I'm going to do this. But you know what? Gosh, he's been hurt so far in the past. I just can't do it. That's not you're in pain and you want the pain to end. It's got nothing to do with other people's feelings at that point. And her whole story about, I was in the royal box and I was weeping. And of course, we've seen pictures of her at the end of the night, that night at the Royal Albert Hall, and her makeup is perfect. There's not a streak on her face. People were sitting all around her. Not one person reported that she was crying. There's no video of her crying. I mean,
well, and you're an expert. Let's just be real. You're not just some critic on this. You've worked in hospitals and stuff. You're an expert in this. And you said it in the last, you are, but you said in the last stream, that's like people have this type of thinking. They don't think about it and not follow through, right? The people who really are considering such an action to unalive themselves have severe depression and disorders that they have trouble stopping, correct?
Have two people that in 27 years in the ER that I took care of, you have two people. You have the people that are suicidal that take the steps. And they come in and we catch them right as they've just swallowed all the pills or they've shot themselves or they've done whatever it is they're going to do to themselves. And then you have the people that come in and go, I'm really depressed. I'm thinking about it. That is a cry for help.
Which is still serious. It's a different thing though, correct?
Serious, but it's a different thing. Because when people get to the point where they're in suicide is not about other people. It's about your own personal pain. You're in so much pain and you just want the pain to stop. And the only thing that you can think of to do that is to remove yourself, to unalive yourself. And when I can't tell you how many people came in and they were like, yeah, I've been thinking about it, but whatever. We were trained for the last 27 years. Things might have changed since I retired a few years ago, but we were always taught that the truly suicidal people are the people that took the actions.
Right.
Everybody else is a cry for help.
And I don't want to downplay the cries for help. They're real, and it happens to our kids. And social media is causing, like, please don't try to twist us that we're not. But I'm bringing it back because it's all getting to a point of, she even says
it at the time, and ashamed to have to admit it to Harry, especially, because I know how much loss he's suffered.
This whole thing is just so manipulative, and bringing it back to Diana, and Diana's lost. And I don't want to tell them that now I'm considering this too. And again, whether she had depression thoughts or whatever, these cries for help, whatever this was, the reason I'm calling this all out now, as she's now struggling to find her purpose, as she resorts tagging to Harry, all these things, she's been out there peddling this for a while. This CBS This Morning thing isn't the first time they've been doing this, right, Sue? They've been out there for these mental health awareness clinics. Here they are at a previous mental health awareness, a summit for mental health. Oh, wait, who is this guy she's hugging? Who's this guy she's hugging? Huh? That's weird.
Whose 14-year-old daughter unalived herself.
Weird, because I could have sworn. Oh, wait.
There he is.
There he is. There he is. Wait, that's interesting. You're telling me these people that they just hold on. But these people that they are.
Hi.
Oh, hi. Nice to meet you.
The Duke and Duchess of Sussex, better known as Harry and Meghan, are definitely big huggers. It was a meeting of an exclusive club.
Oh, it's good to meet you.
And one that
it's a meeting of an exclusive club. Sue, such an exclusive. So nice to meet you. All this stuff. But meanwhile, as you've been sending me images and more, they've met these people before. This is the same duos that the small group of people that they've been pelling around in these meetings for over a year now, correct?
That is correct. What I wanted to interject before, though, was let me remind you that back when Meghan claimed that she wanted to unalive herself, she had a handpicked medical team. She didn't want to use the royal doctors, and she didn't tell them. Her mother was a social worker, and she didn't tell her mother, apparently. The person she told was Harry, who admitted on the Oprah show that he did nothing, even though he and William and Charles all had mental health on tap, because Harry even admits that after his fight with William, he picked up the phone and called his therapist. And later on, they tried to change the narrative. She did by saying that Harry got her a referral to a mental health person. So the whole story just keeps changing and evolving. But if you're willing to come out and say, I wanted to unalive myself, why wouldn't you tell your doctors, who, from what I understand in the UK, every single month when they check on you, they ask you about your mental health?
Well, look, I don't even mean to put it in doubt. I don't want to be like we're bullying her, but I think what you're pointing out is true. There's so many different stories. There's so many questions. And now she's connecting that and making her identity to connect to these parents. And that's where I'm having the biggest struggle, because maybe she did have a moment of thinking, but now she's been doing this and parading these two families around for a while. And even Jane Pauley calls it out.
It's not an army of parents yet.
No.
But what are your ambitions?
Look at Meghan's face on that.
You have to start somewhere. I think the simplest thing that anyone watching
You have to start somewhere, right? You just starts. Look at her.
And
She's
the two
just
of you,
angry when this is even brought up, and I'm getting to a point.
Look at her face.
Look at her, like.
She's angry.
She's angry because it's true. It is not an army, and the reason I'm pointing this out is because she's had time, guys. She's had time to build this army. If this was really such an important initiative, this parents network, well, then she already met these people she's parading around CBS. What was this, over a year ago, right, Sue? Yeah, she's had a long time, and she hasn't been able to get anybody else to the network. You would think if this is so charitable, so important, it would happen. But no, who's the new member here, Sue? Let's go back. We have a new member here. Here she is, the one that they were supposedly meeting. Let's learn about this bully of social media.
What he bought online was actually a lethal dose of fentanyl. Thank you for being here. But
wait, what?
I have to, ask, why would you do this? Why would you do this?
Good question. Why would you align yourself with these two grifters?
Simple answer, so others don't have to.
And again, I'm not trying to criticize these parents. These parents, I believe, are real, are actually grieving.
Live what we've lived and will continue to live.
I don't expect anything from anyone. This is just a labor of love in honor of my son and all the other children that have lost their lives to fentanyl.
To fentanyl. Well, she did say that it was part of the dangers of the social media world. So now drug abuse is being
somehow thrusted into it as well?
Yes. Because
so everything's caused by social media. Look, this woman, I don't mean to call you out, lady. I'm sorry, ma'am. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I'm just pleading with you. This is not the cause you want to align yourself with. Do not allow the loss of your son to fuel the pockets of these two grifters. That's why I'm angry. That's why I'm frustrated, because even you are.
This is
fentanyl's
the mother who cannot get out of bed.
This is a real issue. Fentanyl abuse is literally the cause of the #1 cause. And she's not the only one in this table who's there because of that reason. Another kid was due to drugs. But this idea that Meghan and Harry are parading this around and using it as their anti-online bullying campaign is infuriating to me, Sue. That's not what this movement is about. They've created this movement as a PR opportunity. You can tell it all day. And you can go through our long video. We'll detail it even more specific. They're using these families to prop themselves up to look like they're the saviors here, is what they're doing. And they are sharing some stories that deserve to be told. I'm not going to deny that. This is not a criticism of the families. I want to say that as often as I can. It's my frustration is these families align themselves with these two people who, what is the actual policy? What are they actually going to do? They've had all this time. And Sue, all I sense them doing is going to events in very expensive wardrobes, very expensive PR opportunities and wardrobes as they parade themselves around.
Inappropriate. I mean, she should have been wearing business casual, and instead, for some reason, she really likes to show her shoulders and her neck. I wouldn't have gone to a mental health event with parents who are bereaved wearing something like this. Like, she should have been in a shirt and a blazer, and
again, this is all for charitable to help the parents. And then meanwhile, 7-car convoy across one block they're traveling in these gas-guzzling SUVs that they're parading around in their fancy wardrobes to get where they need to go. And so much so that they even get booed when they're doing it. Boo! Sue, how is this helping parents not have their kids saying, this is literally just them doing PR events. They've created a fancy name for a parents network where they seem to once a year parade these families, these two specific families around to the same style of event where they sit, they get photo opt. She gets to wear some new wardrobe. Oh, look how big and important we are. What are they actually doing to help these kids? I don't get it, Sue. What is happening here? Am I missing something?
No, I think, first of all, my heart goes out to those parents, especially the lady at the end, because it's pretty obvious that she's being very genuine and she's saying, I'm doing this for all the parents who can't get out of bed. And I can't even imagine what she's going through, but partnering up with two people who are trying to censor free speech and who are using an anti-bullying campaign. And it's gone from anti-bullying to the entire internet is bad. And now we have to do something because these kids were able to get a hold of drugs on the internet and this and that. And as I said in the live stream, I think everybody pretty much knows at this point that my oldest son has autism. Growing up, he had like no friends. His entire social interaction besides his brother was online. And as a result, as a parent, I had to be very careful what sites he was on. I monitored everything he was doing. I put child, things on his phone. And
absolutely, yeah.
I did everything to keep him safe. He never had the opportunity to go online and get drugs or interact inappropriately with people. And were there people online that were bullying? Oh, absolutely. But guess what? Xbox and Roadblocks and all these other online things that he used to play on had things where you could report when people were being, nasty, and those people would get thrown right off and blocked from him. So he was able to get online and help, which helped with his social skills. But the point is, as a parent, it was my job to monitor what he was doing, who he was talking to, who he connected with when I let him have a Facebook account. I had his phone bugged. I had his computer bugged.
And look, the truth is, I don't want to call it. It's not like we're trying to call out these parents who've lost kids like it's
I'm
their
not trying
fault.
to do that. I'm just saying parents have to take some responsibility for monitoring their kids.
Correct.
That's all I'm saying.
And there's still going to be bad apples and bad actors that seep into all these cases. And it sounds like some of these parents dealt with the very small percentage that does. But my problem is this parent network led by Perry and Meghan, to me, is a PR opportunity to make themselves look good. The truth of the matter is, and I want to make sure we are ending on something good, you can Google parent support groups for losing kids. And look, I already found one locally here in Tampa where I am located. It's grief support networks you can go to. A lot of churches and religious groups do it. The Compassionate Friends nonprofit for grief. Look, I'm not condoning, I don't know any of these, but my point is still, there are venues and opportunities. There are Facebook support groups. There are virtual support groups. They are all over the place for you to go seek help. You can get help anywhere for free with private groups that will help you, that won't exploit you and your grief and the loss of your child to try to get more money for their big activation, which is what this is, guys. This is all a fancy distraction to make themselves look like they're super charitable. And I'm sick of it. I'm sick of watching them parade these veterans around, now these grieving parents around. It's awful. And sorry, I want to let you speak, and I'm going to get you the last word, but you guys brought in something also amazing. This isn't the first time they've done it. If you watch our full show, you'll see Meghan showed up to Uvalde within like the first few days. The president, Matthew McConaughey, they are like, we're not showing up. It's too much of a distraction. She showed up for a photo op with her team to place flowers there. She has no involvement in the city. She made it about herself. That's what these two always do. And now Andy, how dare you blame them for their charity? Why do they need to do such public charity? Why are they doing their charitable stuff always so loudly in the public? That's not what charitable people do. Sue, am I crazy? What are your thoughts? Final thoughts?
No, I was just going to say, as far as the Uvalde thing goes, you can't, that was the same day her father had his stroke. So you can't talk about mental health and depression if you won't even speak to your own father who's begging to see your children. That's the first thing.
Oh, but he sold a picture to the tabloid, but they made $100 million selling their whole royal life to Netflix. I mean, you can't, the hypocrisy here knows no bounds. And I'm just shocked her defenders can still sit there with a smile, and accept the fact that they are absolutely grifting off of these families, and it's shameful.
Well, the other thing I wanted to say was they make it sound like they're the first ones to come up with this kind of network. And as you just pointed out, that's not true. They make it sound like it's so groundbreaking, but the truth is what they're doing is nothing. It's already been done.
But what are they doing? Let's wrap on that, Sue, because this is all for them to stop getting bullied online themselves, to block their critics. This is all tied into no one lost to social media because we've been bullied so much. That is their connection to this. And that's where it's dangerous, because they're trying to pass actual laws and stuff so they can be arbitrators of what we get online, correct?
Exactly. That's exactly what's going on with the Aspen Institute and all this other stuff that they're doing and all of these researches that they're funding. This is all about our amendment right, which, remember, Harry said was bonkers.
He did. He said it. So look, I wanted you to see this. I wanted you to have something you could share around to people. So they're like, why are you bullying Harry and Meghan? They're trying to help parents. No, they're not. No, they're not. They're trying to help themselves. And I feel for these parents. I empathize with these parents. It's horrible what these parents are going through, but I am disgusted to see Harry and Meghan exploiting them like this for their own financial gain and PR opportunities. Stop doing these events in fancy, expensive dresses. This is ridiculous. Stop giving checks and flowers when there's cameras around. Start being actual human beings and doing this the proper way. Sue, always a pleasure. Make sure you go over to Sue Smith's Long Sally channel on YouTube. Subscribe to her. Subscribe here. Spread this video. You can watch our full long video where we go through the whole interview if you'd like to. I'll put it up there on the left. You can also subscribe, become a member, become a member, and watch the whole unedited. It gets unhinged and crazy. Thank you guys so much for watching here on Popcorn Palace.